Well, we are back with Lisa Waters Lane, my favorite guy. It's kind of nice to take a break with you for just a moment. In the studio, it's been so busy, so crazy.
Mhm.
Has it been windier than normal, or is that just in my head? Like,
I don't know.
I know it's windy every spring, but
It
God,
feels like it, but then I think you forget, and then it
yeah,
feels like, oh my gosh, this is the worst season ever. But
yeah.
I
It's
don't
windy until the monsoons come, and then
know.
it kind of, so by the end of middle of June, it kind of lets up. So
Yeah.
we got a month of more prevailing southwest wind.
Mhm.
That's why you really do want to stake those trees because
Yeah.
they start putting on that new growth and then they start leaning. You get a big plant
Yep.
like a sycamore or an oak
Mhm.
or a big
Maple.
maple. They'll start to lean to that northeast, northwest, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden it solidifies and there's no straightening that tree out. So because of the spring, it's this time right now, the next
Right.
month. That's why you stake trees.
That is true. You try to tell people it's windy. They're planting in the fall. They're like, oh, we're
Yeah,
fine.
and you are
And then
because
the
there's no
wind
foliage
comes.
and it's all
Yeah.
fine. But then the wind comes. So anyway,
Yeah.
it just yesterday was kind of rough. I went, oh, I just feel beat down. And now it's beautiful. So in
Right.
the morning it's always so nice.
Yeah.
Then it picks up like steam. It's like a huge flywheel or something, just gathering
Yeah.
steam as the
I
wind.
always tell people we're like in a wind tunnel where the garden center is, the way the wind just whoosh
Yeah,
down through there. And people go, oh, your trees fell over. I'm like, yeah,
leave it
just
down
leave it
till the
down.
sun till the wind's done. Just leave it down. We've got tree rack. We probably have hundreds of yards of tree racks to keep things up, just to tie them up so they don't fall down.
Yeah.
Mainly so my insurance guy says, Ken, you can't have trees hitting customers. We don't need claims like that. Anyway, what
That
do you
is
got
true.
for us?
Well, let's talk about something more
Yes,
pleasant.
upbeat.
How about pretty flowers?
The studio smells beautiful.
Yes, so I brought in some samples today. So today I'm talking about annuals. So
Okay.
annuals are those plants that you get one season out of,
You get
mostly.
not one, an entire
An
season
entire
out of.
season out of, but they're not going to come back next year.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
sometimes that's okay because it's fun to put different things in. So these are bright colored annuals that are going to bloom all season long. Go in containers, go in the ground, whatever you want to do with them, raised beds. Great to mix if you've got a lot of perennials, mix some annuals in with your
Yeah.
perennials because they just continue to bloom, bloom, bloom. If you've got pots with evergreens and you want some color in
Yeah.
there, throw some annuals in. They're so easy to grow. And then just bring so much color to the yard, to your patios, to your decks. They're fun.
I think annuals get a bum rap sometimes.
Hmm.
Nothing, the reason you want to go with an annual, they're the ones that pretty much self prune. So when they're
Hmm.
done blooming, they shed their flower, automatically set another flower.
Hmm.
No perennial. Perennials are ones that come back every year, but you'll never hear million bells perennial. Million bells, literally thousands of flowers on this plant
Hmm.
in a year, and then it flames out by Thanksgiving. It's done.
Right.
But no perennial would ever dream of putting that many flowers on.
Hmm.
Sunbelievable sunflowers. Yeah, we got a perennial variety of sunflower. It's small, it's kind of leggy, it blooms okay, but Sunbelievable has 1,000 flowers per year, and then it flames out by the time it's
Hmm.
done. So there's if you really want more flower than plant,
Hmm.
annuals are the only one that does that.
Right.
Perennials are great because they come back,
Yeah.
once and done, and then they bulk up and they grow and they
Hmm.
spread through the yard. Wildflowers
Yeah.
are typically perennials, but annuals, especially what you were describing,
Yeah.
containers, raised beds, all of most of your vegetables,
Hmm.
they're annuals.
Right.
Tomatoes are annuals. They you'll have 100 pounds of tomatoes, but then they're going to die out, flame out in the winter,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So everything has its place
yeah,
out in the yards, how you use it. So I brought in some really pretty. So this first one is a petunia. This one's called Night Rider. I think it might be new. I'm not sure.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that stripe is different.
But yeah, so pretty. Look at the color on that with the yellow and the green. And I guess it's maybe more of a not chartreuse.
You're talking to a
Chartreuse?
man. It's gold and purple, so
There you go.
striped. But look,
Right.
it has 5 petals. It has a star, a yellow star in the middle of this purple flower that is
Hmm.
absolutely
They're so
stunning.
pretty.
And this variety, this new variety of petunias we're introducing. Your grandparents grew petunias that grow real tall and then they kind of flop
Flopped
over
over.
and they
Yeah.
look kind of ugly by
Mhm.
late summer. These are creeping or ground cover varieties. So this one plant, this is maybe a foot 14 inches across. This is going to be 3 feet across, covered in these purple flowers with this 5-starred yellow flower in the middle.
Mhm.
That's just striking.
Right.
We planted one. It's already doubled in size. The
Yeah.
Starry Night Petunia
Starry
in
Night.
ours.
Yeah.
I went, I've never seen that.
Right.
I want to grow that. So it's just really pretty. It's got purple with speckles
in it.
of like
Looks
starlight.
like a night sky.
It
Yeah.
does.
It does. Really pretty. It comes in kind of a purpley and then a burgundy color as
Yeah.
well. So petunias come in a wide variety of colors. I mean, you pick a color, we've got it. Yellows, purples, blues, reds, oranges, the variegated ones. So just so pretty. And they just bloom all season long. Nice, tough little plant.
This
here.
actually is ridiculous in size. I mean, it's on steroids. It's beautiful.
It is very,
Must
very
have, let me see,
pretty.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's got like 14 flowers on it. There you go.
So another one that I really like, that's a bright bloomer, just continues to bloom, looks like a little daisy. So this is the Osteospermum. That one comes in yellows and whites and pinks and purples and there again, another variety of colors. Just a real pretty happy daisy looking plant. I'm sick now.
Having fun with the camera. For those of you watching, it's fun. For those of you listening, it ain't so fun. Except for us.
So this one is a powerful bloomer. It does like a little bit of deadheading. So the more you deadhead it as those blossoms spin, the more blossoms you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, but just so bright and perky, and you need to have one.
I'll show the folks that are watching this on camera, but the whole top of this plant is maybe 16, 17 inches across, and it's covered. You can't see the foliage. It's all gold, like bright yellow flowers. But if you pull that flower aside and underneath, there's a whole nother set of buds just underneath the flowers. So it's like continual waves of flower after flower. This one does benefit from a little bit of plant food. So
yeah, the flower power,
yeah,
amazing with that.
Give it some. It's a water soluble liquid fertilizer. If you do this a couple times a month, it will be nonstop flowers. You will not see any foliage, only flowers through Halloween. It's amazing. Another common name for this is African daisy. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. Osteospermum sounds kind of like a medical like a term disease. Or something. I don't know. Like it's going to grow a fungal thing on your feet.
I just couldn't think of the common name that I brought over. Got too many names rolling around in my head most of the time. So the other one that I brought over this is Nurembergia, also called purple robe plant. So this one is actually more of a biennial. So it will come back 2 to 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So it's another one of my favorite no fuss, no muss plants. We have several out in the yard that just come back every year, a few years in a row. They also will reseed. So you kind of get them going another few places. Loves the heat. Put it in a hot spot.
Yeah.
It's happy with that. It'll bloom all season long. Such a cool plant. And it's really hard to find. So we have these specially grown in the 1 gallon containers because usually you can only find it like in 6 packs or something like that. And you got to wait all season to get it up to size. These are already at size. They will get bigger. The clump will get larger. I noticed
ours was covered. Ours are starting to bloom in the yard, in the gardens. They're the 4th or 5th year they've come up. And they had painted ladies, little tiny orange and black butterflies. All over them. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's a really fun one to grow. It's a great one to grow. And the last sample I brought
You've got 5 seconds.
Oh dear. Well, here's a mystic dahlia. Look at how beautiful that dark foliage is with that bright yellow flower. That is just stunning.
And dahlias grow well.
Yes.
So have we gotten dinner plate dahlias in yet?
There's a few.
So dinner plates all the ways to miniatures. Yeah. Dahlias do amazingly well here. So Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back.